episode 294.
This whole Facebook thing is the way I see it is taking the customer, putting my arm on their shoulder and bringing them into my shop, walking them into my back room, maybe the lunchroom, and letting them get to know my team on a personal level. So some of that's getting to know their vehicle better. Some of it's getting to know the guys. They may have things in common with our team. Getting to know, how we do things, what makes us tick, why we're there, what we enjoy. It doesn't have to be about cars.
Welcome, aftermarketers, to Remarkable Results Radio. Listen to learn just one thing from today's episode on your journey to remarkable results. Welcome, automotive aftermarket professionals, to another edition to the aftermarket's best library of audiobooks that help shape your learning curve. Carm Capriato here with episode 294 on the Remarkable Results Radio podcast, with a special interview from Apex 2017 with shop owners Jeff Buckley and Jeff Matt, and a discussion on social media. Here's thanking Federal Mogul Motor Parts for their support of the industry's premier educational podcast. They are the reason you enjoy these great aftermarket interviews. Search for parts and get the latest technical updates. Also, sign up for their Garage Rewards loyalty program, and who doesn't like rewards, at fmmotorparts.com. Hey, there's a great new resource on the website. It's the events page. There you'll find links to local, regional, and national training events for business owners and technicians. These are must training events to keep your business and technical skills on the cutting edge. And if you're looking for a great listening experience, look to the Remarkable Results Radio free listening app. It's on your app store. It's easily downloaded in just a few minutes to put every aftermarket audiobook in the palm of your hand. Hey, are you connected socially like my new Facebook friends Ben Hillman, Jeffrey Roy, Bill Orsborn, Vince Gagliardi, and Don Taylor? And to my new LinkedIn connections, Tim Taylor, Charlie Donovan Castillo, and Scott Hansen? We'll find all connection links on my website. Go to remarkableresults.biz/social. Jeff Buckley from my father's shop in Midlothian, Texas, has become a social media favorite in his hometown, partly because he shares car care tips with his customers, and partly because he spotlights other businesses in a feature called Howdy Midlothian. Jeff Matt is a 5-branch multi-shop owner from Minneapolis and also into social media, however, way differently to how Jeff Buckley goes to market. This is a contrast in the two Jeffs, each successful yet both attacking social media in different ways. Jeff Buckley, big into video and consumer education, and Jeff Matt, big into inspiration and the personal side of his shop's team and culture. The key is that they both know social media is important, and you'll hear two differing angles, and both are right. Find their bios and the episode talking points at remarkableresults.biz/E294. Now meet for an encore appearance on the podcast, Jeff Buckley and Jeff Matt. We are here live at Apex 2017 in the studio here on Level 2. And I'm here with Jeff Buckley from my father's shop in Midlothian, Texas.
Hey, Carm, how you doing?
Oh, man, I'll tell you, you're everywhere. I can't keep up with you. Thank God I'm a little older.
And we have two Jeffs in the studio.
No one's going to mistake your voice. It is unique. And then I have Jeff Matt from Victory Auto Service, Minneapolis and Florida, multi-shop owner. Hi, Jeff.
How are you doing today?
I am great. So I don't know what I'm going to call each of you besides Jeff, and everyone can figure out your voices.
Yeah, the voices are pretty distinguishable, I think.
Without a doubt.
I'm surrounded by stars here, so I'll just be the voice in the background.
Well, yeah, Mr. Buckley is, he's got his camera, he's got his case, he's, woof. So the objective here was that Jeff Buckley from my father's shop, and if no one follows Jeff, you just got to get on it, you got to follow him, because he does so many unique things as it relates to social media, and that's what I want our discussion to be about. And my concept to Jeff Matt, because Jeff was walking by the studio, I hadn't seen him in a long time, and we interviewed back in September of 2015. Wow, in the early days, and So thank you so much for coming on and doing
one of the original.
Yeah, he was an early guy, an early adopter, and when I saw you come by, and I knew that part of what we interviewed in our original episode was about social media, and I said, wow, if Buckley is going to be in here talking about social media, let's get Jeff in here. Actually, we needed to temper
You had an extra seat, I think.
We needed to temper Mr. Buckley because
we got a trailblazer and we got a, what do you call me, Carm?
A patriarch.
I guess maybe let me set the scene. As I watched Jeff's business grow in social media, he's got a great company, but as I watched him grow, he started to do some really unique things with social media. You did something that has really made you kind of a centerpiece, a pillar of the community in Midlothian, Texas, where you are. Give us, and I know it's tough to ask for a 5-minute overview. Really, it is, because I could just literally go take a nap and come back and you'd still be telling us about it.
Tell him 3 minutes.
All right,
3 minutes.
Jeff, you have 3 minutes.
Okay, so I got 30 minutes to talk about this. Well, Carm, you had called, and I was surprised that, you had the right phone number when you called the first time and wanted me to do a little podcast and talk about.
So stop for 1 minute. So because, you see this ad?
Wow.
You see this guy, Mike Rowe? See
I've
this
heard of
guy,
him.
Jeff Buckley? They're in the same picture together. So that's the reason that I called you.
And you see on that ad, it says Jeff Buckley, Midlothian, Texas. It doesn't say my father's shop. It doesn't talk about my shop. It does acknowledge ASE certifications. And so I got that, and I came back to the community, and I went to the chamber, and I went to the economic development, and I said, hey, this is out there. How can we use this to help the town, help the community? And, because it's not advertising my father's shop, it's advertising Midlothian, Texas. And so the chamber was all excited, and Midlothian Economic Development had me do a little video where they take it out and show it, when they go visit places out here in California or Arizona or whatever, trying to bring them into Texas. And they're trying to show them, hey, look, here's a little guy in little Midlothian, Texas, a little mom and pop shop, that this guy's on national advertising, and so it's not a bad place, and you can get recognized out there just as well as you can get recognized in Detroit.
What you're saying is that it doesn't matter how big or how small, you could build a brand that's so powerful in your own market. I mean, you've done that, Jeff.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do with social media, a little bit of practice with the camera and just pretty much bringing the customer into your shop and the experience that you're having. It's so simple, and you've done a great job of that.
But you have to do it.
Yeah, you have to do it.
And there's a lot of guys in our industry that it's kind of like, we're coming into the new technology on the cars, but we're coming into new technology with advertising and with reaching people, with educating people. And this is where people go. They go on their computer and they Google different things. They want to find out different things.
Is your main mission education?
It really is on both levels, on educating the consumer, because in our industry, I'm sorry, we still have a lot of people that distrust, and so it's like, okay, let's educate the consumer. And so then when you go into whatever shop you go into, you'll understand a little bit more, and then you can make the conscious decision at that point. Am I getting taken, or I just don't understand how everything works now? And then the other part is educating the other shop owners, because it's like, okay, guys, how many still handwrite tickets? And you got computers and all this software that'll keep up with all this stuff. And now we're into the digital inspections. Hey, everybody has a camera in their hand. They can just pop the phone out, take a picture of the defective part, or show a short little video of what, the customer's vehicle looks like, and say, this is why we're recommending this repair. Now you're educating, but you're also giving them proof.
And you say educating, though, but I think what you're really doing is you're connecting with people. And that's what I would say is what we're focusing on is connecting. There's a lot of different ways of connecting. And even though I have a technical background and am still master certified, I was happy I finished my tests after, I think, 25 years of recertifying and not working on cars. Just got recertified.
You are? Oh, good for you.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
Master tech. So I have a technical background.
Okay, but you did that because there's credibility.
Absolutely, yeah. I believe in the process.
And that's what it's part of educating the shop owners and the technicians that there's a reason to get that.
Right. But coming back to social media, as far as why you do it, and the point being it's easy. And there's not one way of doing it. You're doing it by educating them technically, showing them stuff inside the shop, where I've had a little bit different approach, where I really don't want to be the face of my company. I don't hide, certainly, but I want my customers to come in and know my managers. So we spend a lot of time educating them on who they see at the shop, letting them know personal information about them. So point being is that there's a lot of different ways to do it. It's just you have to do it. In my opinion, I know in your opinion, it's an easy way to connect, and I think connecting is really what it's all about.
It's an easy way, and so you've already brought up a couple ideas that the shop owners that have, we're just a mom and pop shop, so it's just me, and in your place, they're not always going to see the owner, but that's what customers want to connect with, is they want to know who's working on their vehicle. They want to know when they pick up the phone and they call Victory Auto Service, that who they're talking to on the phone, and then they can put that face with that name, and then every time they call, they want to ask for that person. They say, oh yeah, they know who's working on their car. They know who they can talk to.
Let me ask a question of you, Jeff, Matt. When you recertified, which it was really cool to hear, did you promote that on social media?
Of course.
That's good, see?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be in the public eye, but those are the celebrations. Those are the kind of points that you celebrate in social, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a perfect thing to connect, because people look at me as, people that know me for a long time know that I used to work on cars, but it's funny, I only have, I think, 2 employees that have ever seen me work on cars after all these years. So sometimes I have to remind them that I still understand the battle that they're in, and the challenges that happen in the shop, and not having the right equipment, all that kind of stuff.
I'm talking with Anthony Frohwein, a technical product specialist with Federal Mogul Motor Parts. Anthony, when you're in a shop, are you talking tech as well as product?
Whenever I do a physical training, there is product incorporated part of the whole training overall, but it's to maximize the time, whether it's diagnostics, whether it's inspection, whether it's installation, so that way they understand that, hey, by skipping that extra 20 seconds by putting on this set of brake pads and not replacing the hardware, hey, this might be the reason why that I'm getting comebacks. And usually, being a ex-shop owner, I understand that the first time you get paid, the second time's free.
And so are the techs really starving for this information?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of times you have, we live in an industry where I like to say they cut the roast in half, and they don't understand why, but they do it just because they've always been doing that type of an industry. So, to break it through that, they've been doing something for 30 years, and they see as they haven't been doing anything wrong, but it starts to open up their eyes to, hey, you know what? It wasn't necessarily wrong, but there is a better way.
So you're really talking to me about an aha moment.
Exactly.
And tell me, when you see that happening more and more from technicians that you're out with, how does it make you feel?
Oh, it's awesome. You really feel like you're giving back to the community overall. But ultimately, the way I tell them, I look at every single vehicle that I worked on prior to, or I had my customer, just like I put my family in that vehicle. I look at it as I'm keeping everybody else that much safer because the job's getting done correctly.
Federal Mogul Motor Parts' Garage Gurus is your go-to source for the vehicle training, technology, and answers you need to keep your next job on track. On-site, online, or on demand, the Gurus are here to help keep your business and your career on the road to success. Visit fmgarageguru.com. Give me an idea of a great social campaign that you guys ran that you may not necessarily say I got a big return on my investment, but it had an impact.
Well, one thing that we've done consistently is Are You Smarter Than a Permit Holder, which is a fun engagement for people to ask, and it's basically centered around rules of the road, signage that you see, just stuff that you take when you take a driver's test, driver's training permit, permit holder. Yes, sorry, not a gun permit holder, driving permit holder.
I was wondering.
So people, it's a multiple choice. People can literally just go on and hit A, B, C, or D, and then there's a little bit of a conversation. They don't really need to articulate a drawn-out message. But
are you seeing a lot
engaging.
of throughput with that?
Yeah, just one simple example that we came up with internally.
Okay, so you put a Facebook post out, right? What does Facebook do within 30 seconds of your post? They want to sell you a boost, right? Yeah. Are you guys doing any of that?
I will do limited boost on it, and when you look at the boost and you say, well, you can go out and advertise and spend as much money as you want. A lot of folks don't realize that you don't have to spend a lot. You can do a $20 boost, $30 boost for 1 week, because Facebook will come back and say, hey, boost this $20 for 1 day. And you can say, no, I want to stretch that out to a week. And then you have to go in and pick your target words. You have to stop and say, okay, who am I trying to reach? Who am I trying to share with? And so then you have to go in and look at words, and you say, and of course, we all got the deal, hey, soccer moms, and then but if you look at it and say, well, you want to reach everybody that has an iPhone. Everybody has an iPhone. You want to reach people that, go on Google. Everybody goes on Google.
Are you doing some of that drill down?
Yes.
You are.
We do that, and I'll go in and check it, and I'll go in and pick different words. So what you do is, like you say, okay, I'm going to pick this set of words, and I'm going to run this ad 1 week. And then at the end of the week, Facebook is great on coming back and saying, here's the results, here's how many you reached, here was your organic. Organic just means how many did you reach before they decided you paid.
Take your money.
Yeah. And boost out. And then you can look on how many clicks did you have, because they'll go back and say, well, how many people clicked on for at least 3 seconds? So when you say, okay, at least 3 seconds, so now you have to say, okay, well, we're not going to do a long 2-minute, 5-minute video, which is hard for me because it takes me that long to say my name. And so you just want to do a 60-second deal. And if you go over on Instagram or Twitter, they're real easy they take your video and cut it to 1 minute.
Let me just ask you a question. It was funny you said it takes you 60 seconds to say your name. But if you know that it's a 60-second video, can't you just sign on and say, hi, Jeff here? Because people know you. They get it if they follow.
Okay, but now you have to give them content.
I understand.
Are they saying, hey, I'm Jeff, what are you talking about today,
okay.
Jeff?
But you seem to never lack for content. Well, I watch your stuff.
Well, and it's because you don't just have one kind of vehicle coming in the shop. You don't just have one kind of repair.
I understand.
You have all kinds of things going on.
Frank Lloyds, we all know Frank. He's big in video.
My brother Frank. Shout out to you, brother.
He says it takes 8 hours, to do an hour of video. So it's a lot of work. The point of it is there's a lot of people afraid of probably wanting to do something good and not look. But isn't down home, blue collar? Yeah,
it doesn't have to be.
It could be raw. I guess my point is it could be pretty raw.
And
right?
that's the word that they use on all my videos. And so I'm like, okay, I guess I got to buy a bigger computer and a better software program because my stuff is raw. And that's not what they're saying. And where Frank's deal is he'll say, well, it takes an hour to do a 1 minute edit. Yeah. Okay, well, you can go on your computer and get the different software and stuff like that. Most of the deals that I do is on my phone. I'll shoot the video, and then I go back with iMovie and put it on there, and I'll go in and I'll cut out where the camera kicked on before I said hi. I'll cut that part out, and then if I mess up and stumble on my words, I'll just cut that little part out, and then I put it out.
But what about the raw live? Have you guys ever done any of that?
Yes, I did one walking up here this morning on, hey, here's the Apex sign, and I'm fixing to go on Apex, and right here at Apex you have all the crowd.
I get that, but your customer at your end of town will appreciate that you're out educating yourself and you're being involved. But what about, a unique thing that came in the shop that you want to share to people?
I do that all the time as far as if you have something that comes in that's a unique one I can think about is it had been to another shop and they put a new belt on it and the belt was squealing. And I looked down in there and I was like, something don't look right. Well, I had never seen this before, and the front of the harmonic balancer, the pulley part on the harmonic balancer, where it has the rubber on there, had come off. And so underneath the pulley system, where it slides on, that actually has grooves on the harmonic balancer there. And so whoever had done it had just gone, oh, there's the grooves in the harmonic balancer, and wrapped a belt around it. And, of course, the belt was too loose. And so it's like, okay, consumers, this is an unusual deal. Hey, let's just show you why that person didn't mess up on purpose. They just didn't know any better.
Okay, so that's education. You said earlier connecting.
Well, yeah, I think that we're getting off course a little bit, because I think when you start saying video with most shop owners, you scare them, because most of us aren't wired for video. We don't like video. We get nervous. I think people shut down, and I think when you're trying to connect, was what your leading question was, when you're trying to connect with people and be unique, it doesn't have to be video. It really doesn't have to be video. You just have to share content that they're interested in. And one of the things that we found recently is we started doing more inspirational type information that we come up with, and then we put our hashtag on it, and we have a piece that's shareable. So we found that people are actually sharing this information that we're putting out, and it's not a video. It's having somebody on your staff or yourself that has something of value. You have to put yourself in the customer's shoes, and I don't know how many other business pages people have gone on and visited, but I think most of them are pretty boring. You have to find something that is interesting.
People got to stop.
Yeah.
And they want to be able to read.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff out there that if you write a lot of content and it goes into the see more, that sometimes is almost more valuable, because when somebody does the see more, they're really stopping and they want to know more.
Yeah.
And so lately I've actually my posts about the shows that go on and on, I've actually been writing more so that people want to see more and read a little bit deeper about the synopsis of the episode.
Well, my concern is I just don't want it to be just people thinking to get on Facebook they have to do video, because I just don't. That is not the case
Jeff,
at all.
Jeff
he does
Buckley,
a great job. Frank does a great job.
Frankly,
these guys are leaders, and they're special,
I agree.
unique people.
You can do it with pictures, but you also have to remember that, okay, are you entertaining, or, what is your purpose? And people don't want to, where you said, if you get into the Seymour, people don't want to read. They would rather listen. That's why your podcasts are so popular.
There are how many social media experts out there that you could sign on to? You could listen to their podcasts, you can read their articles, you can get their emails. And I'll tell you, when I started in this business and I started to learn about social, it's different from every person you talk to. Yeah. And the beauty of everybody has a different opinion about
they're all
stuff.
the experts.
Yeah, I know. People will say, no, don't post more than 1 or 2 times a day. Well, some industries require more. It depends on the depth and the scope of your content.
Well, and also some of the different areas. So, like if you're doing on Instagram, you have to do more than once a day. If you're doing on Twitter, you have to do more than once a day. If you're doing on Facebook, it's like, okay, why are we doing this and what are we trying to reach? Because then if you do multiple times, then it starts to, they're going to send it to the same amount of people. You're going to reach 10 people one time, or you're going to reach 10 people and they're going to break it down. Okay, 3 people saw this, 3 people saw this, 3 people saw this. And so that's kind of what you have to look at when you're getting into some of that.
What is your frequency?
It kind of depends on what message I'm trying to get out there and what I'm trying to share. Like right here, we're up at Apex, and so I'm doing a lot of Instagram and a lot of Twitter, so that because all of a sudden I just tweeted about being over here at the Gates booth, and right now they have the new VR experience. Okay, well now all these other exhibitors just did a tweet, and mine just got buried down. So now I'm going to have to do another one, so it'll pop back up and you'll see it.
Hashtag Apex 17. What's your frequency?
We post on Facebook probably every day, and I think probably on Instagram, I think 3 to 5 times a week. Okay. And some of it's the same content. But I just want to go back, just to be clear, I think video is great. I think text content is great. I think pictures of old parts is great. My point is that I think when you look at some of the best guys in this industry that are doing video, they do it really, really well, and others can look at that and say, you know what, I can't do that, so I don't want to get into it.
The bar is up there.
Yeah, exactly. But it shouldn't be a barrier to getting into it and at least getting started.
Okay, so somebody just getting started. Yeah. I mean, I want to talk about Howdy Midlothian, so we got to get there. But wait, the barrier to entry is hardly anything. Basically, what I've heard is text is the lowest form of stop to read, to look. But if you've got a picture, and a picture that's going to grab some attention, because you may have a concept. I mean, there's so many picture services out there that they're for free that you can pick something. And I tell you, there's some guys out there, I stop. The picture grabs me somehow. And I think that's part of the secret.
My grandchild gets more hits on the picture than I do. If we put one of her holding a part and one of me holding a part, it's going to be, oh my gosh, you got 3 times as many likes as I did.
I did this Halloween thing, just before I got here, and that got more hits than your episode.
So, if you go out and look at it and you say, okay, well, how do I get involved and how do I get started? Then there's guys out here that are already doing it. And so, like I do a lot of mine generic so that other shop owners can take it and go, hey, we do that kind of repair. We do that kind of service. And you guys just grab my video and share it on yours. And a lot of them do that. I'll see 40 to 60 shop owners a week grab one of my videos and they say, hey, we can do this. Look, Jeff Buckley's telling about this and we can take care of this on your vehicle. It's the same way as if you're saying, hey, come on in to Victory Auto Service, we're the only shop around. Okay, that's great for your business, but you can. The way I do them is so that I can reach out and help others in the industry.
That's so interesting. Would you ever repost one of Jeff's posts?
I don't know if they might be too long. No, I don't know. I think of this whole Facebook thing is the way I see it is taking the customer, putting my arm on their shoulder and bringing them into my shop, walking them into my back room, maybe the lunchroom, and letting them get to know my team on a personal level. So some of that's getting to know their vehicle better. Some of it's getting to know the guys. They may have things in common with our team. Getting to know, how we do things, what makes us tick, why we're there, what we enjoy. It doesn't have to be about cars.
So you get a new piece of equipment. Would you talk about it?
Probably wouldn't be the first thing unless the customer would really see a benefit from that, maybe.
A scan tool, OE scan tool, for example.
No, probably not.
Doesn't matter?
No.
New tire changer?
No, I probably we haven't done that. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad post. Again, if you just want to get people in and
a certificate for training.
News.
A certificate. One of the guys just accomplished some great training, and he got a certificate.
If it was customer service training, yes. Or technical training, yes, not sales training.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
So I just passed a course on GDI, and we want to say, hey, we've got a guy who's even
Definitely
more expert in that.
Okay, but that's the same thing in one sense. Is okay. I want to show that hey, my guy just got Master Tech. He's certified in all these deals. That's the same thing with some of the new equipment that's out. You want to let the consumer know that, hey, we have this proper piece of equipment.
Absolutely,
or, hey,
yeah.
we have this new tire machine now because most of the vehicles all came out with 20s. Years
Right.
ago, those were called dubs. And I was like, okay, what in the world are dubs? And, my kids were like, I want a set of dubs on my Jeep. And you're like, okay, well, you had to have a machine that was big enough to do 20s. Now these machines will do up to 24. Some of them will do 26, 27s. So if you have a machine that will now handle a different clientele that you've been reaching for, that's when I would share, hey, we have this deal. If you have, when you're talking about showing the customer, it's like, okay, I like to educate them on the dashboard, all the lights. Hey, that check engine light comes on. You don't have to freak out about it, Now, if it starts blinking, okay, let's worry. Hey, if it changes red. So then it's like, okay, well, on the emission, when it comes on check engine light, a lot of that is emission system. So if I have a smoke machine there, I show them that, hey, look, this is the equipment that we have that tests this system.
You almost have a calming approach to, you're giving people just enough information to have them feel confident that number one, you could do your repair, but that they're not in any really major deep trouble, but you need to go to an expert. I mean, that's the message, right?
Correct.
I think they see that you're passionate about that stuff as well. But it's all the same thing, and the point is there's not one way to do this.
Correct.
It
That's
really
right.
is whatever way that you want to show that customer that you're a passionate shop owner, business owner. You're looking out for their best interest. You hire good people, and that's what's interesting to them. So it can be just about any topic.
And so there is different areas. And so when you say, well, how do you get started? You can do it the way that he does. And if you have a lot of competition in your market and it's like, okay, why would I go to your shop? You're showing them personality and personable of your shop. I'm showing them education and different deals on my shop. So if you're reaching out and telling the shop owners, how can you get started? What do you do first? Can you do a video? Can you do pictures? Just show the everyday. Well, see, the way that you're doing it is one way to connect with people. And so, yeah, there is. When we're talking to a lot of folks out there now, and they're saying, well, I can't do what Jeff does. Okay, but you can do what you do.
Matt, how much is your social post very similar to the culture in your business?
Well, I think if we're doing a good job, it is a reflection of the culture in our business. And especially when it's funny and it's staff in, whether
team
it's
building,
celebrating
family.
birthdays. Yeah, a guy gets caught upside down in a car and someone's there to take a picture. Any of that stuff shows your personality, and I feel like whatever you can do to get them to not have to worry about or think about
the human
are they
side.
taking care of me? Are these trustworthy people? We want them to see they're regular old people that have a sense of humor, families, and are here for the right reason. And then silently, I guess, as they see that the same people are there over and over as they get to know them, so they see that you don't have turnover in your shop. All of that kind of the unspoken things really jump out when you have consistency and they see some of the same faces.
Okay, so what I would love to do, Jeff Buckley, is to talk about Howdy Midlothian. And you started this, I don't know how long ago, Jeff, but boy, when I saw you first do this, I wasn't sure where you were going with it. and then it only took me at the end of your first one to really think it was genius.
Well, and see, that's kind of the point there is, when we're discussing, Jeff Matt does different social media than I do. And that's kind of the point is, okay, let's just get you started somehow, somewhere.
No, I get it. And I love the contrast between you two. This is really a great discussion.
And so what I did was I looked and said, okay, this is how I do it, and we're reaching out, and people like it, and they're responding. So we sit down and I say, okay, what is it you want people to know about your business? And then sometimes they have to think, because a lot of times we don't think.
I want my guests to understand you're now talking about Howdy Midlothian.
Howdy Midlothian.
Where you've actually taken on your own site, if you will, this separate brand altogether and bringing in local businesses, and you're interviewing them.
If you go on Facebook and go to Howdy Midlothian, it's a separate entity, and it's not about my father's shop. It's not about automotive. It's about other businesses in our community.
Right.
It's like, okay, if you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce, they should help you get your word out and everything. But a lot of times the small businesses kind of get left in the shuffle and don't get all of the attention. And it's like, okay, you can do this. You can do this yourself. You can get on social media. You can promote yourself. So I call them in and invite them in to come sit down with me. We set up a screen. We set up the camera. I don't have on my technician's shirt, my father's shop shirt.
You're just a normal guy?
And I have my Howdy Midlothian shirt on, and
a normal guy.
We just sat down and talk about their business, and then we turn the camera on and say, okay, we're going to do the same thing, except we have the camera running, and you didn't even know it might have been running while you were sitting there, and you're relaxed. They talk, and then we share what it is that we want them to know about the business.
How long does it last?
When we first started out, there were some folks that once they started talking, they actually talk longer than me, and it was 25 or 30 minutes.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
What do you say?
There's 100,000 people here that may disagree with that.
And so what I've done is I've listened to what they say they want to share. And then we break it down and we'll do different segments. And I'll say, okay, like right now, this is Fall Car Care Month. So let's talk about fall. What do you have for fall? What do you have coming up in the winter? Okay, you want them to know that you do what? That you do deliveries. You want them to know that you do custom orders. You want them to know that you can...
Okay, so a flower shop, a butcher.
Yeah, and it's like we break down different things that they do. So now we'll do a little, anywhere from 1 minute to 5 minute segment on a certain part of what they do. Now they can take that and, okay, this week they show this segment. Next week they show another segment. So we just did a month's worth of stuff for them that they can put out one deal 1 week, another part of it the next week, another part of it the next week, another part of it. And so in the 30 minutes that we sit down.
Page? Is that what it is? A community?
It's a group.
Facebook group?
Yeah, and because a page, then it comes back and they want you to boost it, and a page doesn't go to everybody. A group will actually go, like a message board, it goes out to everybody that's in that group. So they have to request to join, but anybody in the that's a member can add them. Now, not everybody can post.
Let's go a little deeper. How big is Midlothian, Texas?
It's weird because you got the city, and then we have the county.
The city is Houston? The city is Dallas? What's
the city is Midlothian. Okay, but the city limits, you probably have 15,000.
All right, so it's 15,000.
And right now we have 5,500 members.
Of the group.
Of the group.
Howdy Midlothian.
Okay. And now if you look in the school district, well, the school district might reach out to 20.
Are you running for mayor?
I have what's come in.
Good question, right?
Frank all the time says the mayor of Midlothian, and it's like I don't do political, and if we don't post political in our yard. We don't post political
I
on
understand,
the deal.
but it seems to me,
or the school board,
in a town of 15,000, Jeff,
20,000. It's
okay. Whatever the number is, it's not a bad little community. I lived in a community that size, and I started to think about the shop, the small businesses in the area that are no different than the shop owners. They just don't know how to make that first step. And maybe by you doing this show, they go back and they say, Jeff taught me something.
And I do, and I try to explain, because there's a lot of coaches and business people and social media ones out there that they can pay. Well, they just come over, and I give them a lot of information that these other guys would charge them for, and I just say,
but you're
okay.
not. I think you're charging, though, aren't you?
Well, I charge basically a fee because of the equipment and the time.
You're getting something for your time. I mean, you are not earning a living doing this. You're earning a living
and for the
wrenching.
charities, it's all free. For the community events, it's all free. If you're a business owner, then it's like, okay, I charge you a little, pay for my equipment, but it's also so that you have skin in the game. It's like then you understand, hey, I'm going to pay this other place to be. A lot of them, they'll go to these little events, the little shows, the little selling deals that they have in town. Okay, so you just went up there and gave away a lot of stuff, and you paid $50 to give away stuff. How much return on investment did you have? Well, you paid, besides your $50, you bought a bunch of T-shirts or a bunch of koozies or whatever to give away. How much return on investment do you get? And most people...
I don't think on tchotchke you get much. I mean, really don't, unless it was a big 8x10 magnet for the refrigerator.
And then so I say, okay, I'm going to give you information, for the $50, and now you can use this all year long. You can use this content multiple times.
Okay.
Great, I love it.
I think your heart's huge. I think it's a great idea, great concept. I've watched so many of them. Does it benefit your business at all? Does it benefit your brand?
It wasn't, I don't do it, and it wasn't initially made to bring in business to my shop. Okay, it was to help other shops. Now, because other people say other businesses, there's so many different sites out there that it's like, how, as a consumer or as just an individual, how do I know what events are going on in my community? Okay, well, we got this site. Well, it kind of gets negative. Okay, well, we got this site. Well, they just talk about athletics. And so the thing that a lot of people have noticed is they go to Howdy Midlothian, and they just have to go to one place to find out all the events that are going on in the community. And so we just do that. We have a lot of times, and because they can't post on it, so then it's a little bit more regulated that you can't say, hey, we're having a garage sale up here on the corner.
Can you tell me mano to mano here, mano to mano, that it has helped your business?
Yes.
Good. That's all I care about. I just want it to be good for you, man.
But it's not developed to bring customers in. It's not developed
He's going to be the mayor.
I know. I'm telling you.
Simple.
Are you kidding me? They're going to come to him next year. They're going to come to him. We got these petitions.
Signatures are here.
We want you to run on the.
You're the guy.
We want you to run on the Howdy line.
And it's funny because other ones will see what we're doing, and they've copied and trying to copy the idea. We'll come up with a deal that...
Who? I mean, are you just people in the community?
Yes.
Okay, all right, okay.
And then, so we designed Howdy Midlothian T-shirts. And it's like, okay, let's put this out there, Howdy Midlothian. And now we have 2 high schools in town. So we made some shirts red. We made some shirts of blue. So if you're at this high school, you can get a blue shirt, and you can wear it to your school events. If you have a red shirt.
So he's a mom and pop, Jeff, right? He's a mom and pop. Where does he find time to wrench?
So we're giving those away. So if I charge, then that's just supporting and giving away my T-shirts. And people come and say, hey, we want to buy one. And it's like, no, you can't buy one. You have to win one. You have to be given one, and so then it's like, okay.
Love to hear about it. Thank you. Jeff, Matt, tell me, there's Twitter, there's Instagram. What else are you using besides Facebook?
Put me on the spot. I don't know that we're really doing. I mean, we're really focusing. Everybody's attention really is on Facebook. It's just continuing to grow, and Instagram's growing. We've tried a little bit of Snapchat. I think that's been good.
Okay.
We've got somebody on staff 3 days a week that's constantly thinking and looking at what's going on around the shop and how we can share that.
Now, your shop in Florida. I know you're Minneapolis-based. You have how many locations?
5 locations.
5 altogether.
Working on a 6th.
Working on the 6th in Minneapolis?
Yes. Suburb.
Okay. How's Florida going?
It's our busiest shop.
When I interviewed you, you had just bought the shop.
Yeah, it was a big step. To be an absentee owner out of state was a challenge, but I think my summary is that once we got our crew in place, trustworthy, and cameras don't hurt in place, then it's been great. It's a great market down there. And it's a great place to get away to this time of year as it starts to get colder in Minneapolis.
Well, I have a place to go now.
Absolutely.
All right, man. I love it.
Yes.
So, is your social media person, happens to be your son's...
That's my daughter-in-law.
Oh, your daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool is that? That's great. Your daughter-in-law, is she doing the marketing for Florida?
Yes.
You have a separate Facebook page there?
Yes, we do.
Cool.
All the other locations share one main Facebook page. We maintain the other ones so that they can check in there. So we actually have individual Facebook pages, but we right on the front says this is on our main page. This is mainly for checking in and leaving reviews. So that's good for Google, and keeps everybody happy that we have those for each location.
I know one thing for sure. We could talk about this until they kick us out tonight. But I so appreciate it. I think there was a lot of great thoughts that have just bubbled up into the air here, and that I really do think our listeners are going to walk away with it. We're, of course, right up the talking points. But, Jeff Buckley, it sure seems like you keep saying help shop, help shop. So it's almost like you're willing to guide someone who may be afraid to take their first step.
Correct, and that's part of the deal is from the two of us being in here, you kind of hear 2 different ways that you can do it. So there's not just a right way and a wrong way. There's different ways, and it's like you have to go to your personality. You have to look at what works in my community.
Right.
Might be a little bit different than your community.
Listen, Jeff's got bigger challenges. He's got all these stores. He's got a big team under him. You've got to have a great way to drive market share and new business, and continue to hold the great relationships with the people that are following you.
Absolutely, yeah. You got to have a team. It seems like you're always recruiting and working and keeping your guys satisfied. There's always something that seems like it comes up, needs your attention. So.
And you can relate that to the industry. Like we have the techs that are out there, we got the veterans, and we're trying to bring new blood into the industry. And it's the same way with your shop. You have customers that you have, established customers, but people move, people get different cars, got newer cars are lasting long, and you're trying to bring new blood into your base. And so it's all the same. It's just, okay, let's take these ideas and then figure out what we're trying to do and then use them from there.
Thank you so much, Jeff Buckley from My Father's Garage and Jeff Matt from Victory Auto Service in Minneapolis and Florida. Thank you for stopping by, signing your poster, and I had this date fixed with Jeff, so it really worked out, and I love the contrast. Thank you so much for it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carm. We appreciate what you do.
Absolutely.
And nice to meet you, Jeff Matt.
Yes.
Jeff and Jeff. Hey, thanks Jeff Buckley and Jeff Matt for sharing your views on social media. Find additional information on this episode at remarkableresults.biz/E294. Hey, did you know that there are 294 episodes in your audiobook library of aftermarket wisdom, ideas, insights, and inspiration? It grows every week. Cataloged, tagged, and archived so you can find your area of interest. On-demand audio is just like Netflix for radio. Your learning curve never sounded so good. Hey, you're the reason we continue to bring you these inspiring stories. My payback is when you listen. Tell a friend. Remember, all ships rise when you pay it forward.
Thanks for for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time,